Hello, Unity of the Westside. I will read the daily word today for February 14th, 2021, with permission from the publisher. The daily word for today is heart expression. You are dear to me. I hold you in my heart. Sharing love is a wonderful way of discovering and responding to the divinity alive in every heart, binding us as a human family. My loving nature helps me see the best in every person whose life touches mine. Today I remember one of the legends of St. Valentine, in which he fashioned pieces of parchment into hearts, which he gave to others as tokens of his compassion and God's love. Today, the tradition continues when I say, "You are dear to me. I hold you in my heart," with a card, gift, call, or a simple act of kindness. I share love with no expectation of reciprocity, and my heart welcomes every expression of love from others. Love's energy grows through both giving and receiving. And from John 13:34, I give you a new commandment, that you love one another. Just as I have loved you, you should also love one another. And so it is. This is the daily word.
All right.
Oh, is it working?
It's working.
Welcome to The Funniest Thing,
Yes.
where each week we share stories about how stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes.
Yes, it does.
I'm Darrell,
I'm Ed.
and we're broadcasting live from middle school studios in downtown Culver City, the heart of Screenland.
Yes.
And you know what, Ed?
What's that?
I'm looking forward to it.
That's true. I'm looking forward to it also. Hope is always whispering in our ear. The best is yet to be. By reminding ourselves that all things are working together for our good, we can move forward with joyful expectancy. With this faith-filled attitude, we're happy, regardless of how things may appear at the moment, because we're looking forward to the mysterious ways His wonders will be performed. And during this talk, I shall say, Darrell and Ed, that's us, will encourage you to welcome change, because it's a turn for the better.
Yes, it is.
Yes, and that's really what all of the stuff that we practice and study, these principles, help us to recognize that life is always moving in a positive direction, and our job is to keep practicing looking at it through that lens.
Well, funniest thing,
Yes.
now that I'm starting to feel relaxed.
Yes. It's all coming together, folks. It's all coming together.
Even though we're not standing on the platform in front of a live audience, it's still a little nerve-wracking when we're about to give these talks, because we really want the message to come through
Yes, that's right.
as clearly as we can make it. But
Yep, and we've been looking forward to giving this talk as well.
yes, we have. So one of the things we both do, a practice I learned 1986, so over 34 years ago,
Yes.
which began with me receiving the Daily Word, a subscription to the Daily Word, is a morning routine.
Yes.
We strongly suggest a simple morning practice where you take the time to be kind and loving to yourself before you start racing into what you think you have planned for yourself in the day. And
That's right.
I mean, now, and it may start off as a routine you have to get into, but once that groove is in, I mean, I look forward to it every morning. Both of us wake up before our spouses, so that way by the time they wake up, they meet decent husbands.
That's right. That is correct.
So one of the things I do when I'm sitting on a couch and we read these inspirational books, I put on the cable TV music channel.
Right.
And
MTV?
No, not MTV. No, so what's the one with the hip hop?
BET?
Well, not BET. It's actually Soundscapes.
Soundscapes. That makes sense.
So Soundscapes is a meditative music feed that
Right.
I like playing in the background. What's great about it is if I happen to look up and see the TV monitor,
Yes.
instead of it being adverts or anything, they put up these positive quotes.
Yes.
So you always get like a little extra boost to your morning routine. You never,
Right.
And I never know what's going to be on there.
Right.
And it just so happens, just prior to us giving this talk, which goes perfect with it, was this quote. Life changes very quickly in a very positive way if you let it. And that's by Lindsay Vaughn.
Yes. That's Eric Butterworth has a whole chapter. Well, it's a short reading in his book Celebrate Yourself, called like the most. I think it's called The Most Effective Prayer, and that's the prayer. And I think he referenced Charles Fillmore as saying that as well. To let it.
Yes.
When we're really in the flow with this creative process, we get the divine inspiration. We tune into it. We meditate. We pray. We affirm. We do inspired reading. And then we go about our day being joyful and kind and let it unfold, watch it unfold, receive it as it happens. It's amazing. Instead of make it happen, we get to let it happen and receive it joyously.
This is coming together amazingly well. You know why?
Why?
Because as you were talking, it helped me realign what we were talking about.
Right.
Because it's about looking forward to it. It's about looking forward, that's such an affirmative statement. I'm looking forward to it. Aren't you looking forward to it?
Yes.
It's never meant as I'm looking forward to it. It's never.
No.
It's no matter when you say it, no matter what mood you're in. When you're saying something affirmative, I'm looking forward to it, even if it's something that seems like it might be a little scary to you at the moment.
Right.
Once I affirm, I'm looking forward to it.
Yes.
My mind starts to automatically shift back into blessing the situation. And the last segment of today's daily word, do you want to read that? Because this is a great way to get in the groove of looking forward to it.
That's right. So as we heard, the daily word was heart expression for today, which is Valentine's Day, which is perfect, and which we are so happy to be a part of and be able to speak on because we love loving.
Yes.
And the daily word said, I share love with no expectation of reciprocation, and my heart welcomes every expression of love from others. Love's energy grows through both giving and receiving.
Yes.
Yes.
That's the thing that whenever I'm in doubt, or my mood starts to diminish, I could always remember what my divine assignment is.
Yes.
Which is to just be an ambassador of God's love.
Yes.
And if you listen to our show, we have a podcast. It's called Funniest Thing with Darrell and Ed. It's available on Unity Online Radio.
Yes.
And we talk all about the Unity principles, and we share all the stuff that we practice.
And we talk to great ministers, people from all walks of life, actors, the politicians, but people, anyone, waiters, taxi cab drivers,
tattooists,
teachers,
welders,
who are practicing these principles.
Yeah, and in a couple of the shows we share this many times about our real divine assignment is to be an ambassador of God's love, and that helps me reframe things.
Yes,
because and this started for me, to get in. When I got into this practice, it came at the perfect timing because I was in the military. I was kind of resenting my job at the time.
Right.
But a good friend of mine who became my mentor, he even said, he goes, you could tell them you want out of the service. They're not going to shoot you. They'll probably be happy to get rid of you. Because at that time, I wasn't really applying any of these principles. I didn't even know they existed.
Right.
But he was introducing me to them. His name was Mike Dugan.
Yes.
And he said, but listen, I'm going to tell you something. If you don't learn to love the job you already have, you're going to have the same miserable job the rest of your life.
Right.
And for some reason, even though I was only 23, that made sense to me.
Right,
because in that one moment, I don't know how my mind was receptive to this idea, this bigger idea, but it shifted to, oh my God, what a relief. So I don't have to make things happen, prove myself, push and shove or scheme and worry. no matter what my current job is, that's basically just my cover.
Yes.
And my real job is I'm an agent for God.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in the sacred service instead of the secret service.
I love it.
And so that still helps me today if I'm going to, most recently to purchase a new car. It could be intimidating. So I had to switch it. No, I'm not going there to get a new car. I'm just going here to be an agent of God's love.
Yes.
And bring love to the situation. A good friend of ours who's been a guest on the show.
Yes.
Her name's Krista Macavina. She's a unitic originally from Florida.
Right.
Which is a Unity member, a unitic. Mm-hmm. And
actually, it's someone who loves the Unity principles
as much as we do.
Yes.
So people might think you're crazy because you're so happy.
That's right.
So she now lived here, and she, I guess about 6 months ago, was diagnosed with a very scary medical condition, an unusual tumor growth, and she took what we share to heart. And instead of going to her chemo and her doctor's appointments thinking, oh, my God, when the fear would creep up, she switched it to, no, God set up this divine appointment for me to be an ambassador of his love in all these situations. And the long story cut short is as she was doing that, she would feel hopeful throughout the process.
That's right, and she was also using silent unity
to
stay in an affirmative state of mind. We were affirming the best for her. She had a lot of people around her helping her to stay in that affirmative state.
She was looking forward to it,
yes.
to this healing, and she knew the only way she could keep her mind up there was stick to these principles. She also, because we're talking about love here, and it's okay to say no to who you're going to share your, what would that be? Who you're going to share your personal trials or your personal or your personal dreams and aspirations with, because some people, she didn't want the people that were going to commiserate and say, oh, that's terrible. She only wanted to share it with people who would,
hold the high watch.
Yeah, like the Fillmores suggest, and like Butterworth suggest, and like Emmett Fox, and all these great teachers suggest.
Yes.
People that aren't going to sympathize, which bring them down to that.
Yeah, because remember, sympathetic means you're vibrating at the same frequency.
Yes.
And the same authors you were just talking about kind of warn against sympathizing with people that you don't want to be on their... if you want to really be a blessing to them, we got to practice and get ourselves connected to this higher vibration so that we can be a beacon of light and a reminder of what's possible rather than a reflection of what is already might be happening or what someone is afraid of.
It's an easy habit to get into because our society seems to make it seem like, that you're supposed to go, when someone to go, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that, but that's not.
Well, because there's a belief we don't want to get people's hopes up, or we might somehow lead them astray if we get too hopeful. I see it in my job as an educator all the time. I'm in special education. I'm a teacher, and I see that in from psychology reports to whatever. And people are afraid of giving the parents the wrong idea that something amazing might happen. They want to instead play it safe and warn them, but. By doing that and living that way, we shut off the channel of healing, the very healing, loving, infinite possibility that we all desire. So you were talking about Krista.
So what happened was by practicing that and keeping the high watch and not looking for people to be in self-pity with her to commiserate with her self-pity, what seemed like an insurmountable type of cancer, very rare, and doom and gloom at the beginning, just this month, she's gotten the clean bill of health.
Yes.
No more chemo. And just let us know if anything unusual seems to happen. But as far as we're concerned, you're good to go.
Because they removed some tumors, and when they tested them, they found out that the tumors they believed were malignant turned out to be benign. And everything, all of the medical experts up to that point were sure that it was malignant. It was sure.
Yes.
And it wasn't until Krista actually started reading the report after the test and the surgeries had been done, she was like, "What?" Because she started to see in there that they were benign instead of malignant. So, and Darrell had two possibilities. Were they ever malignant? Possibly, but there's also the possibility. Well, maybe they were never malignant. Maybe they were wrong all along, or maybe by her, the other part. This is what I was gonna say. This is what I was thinking when you were sharing.
Love. Yes,
she was always sending love to her body instead of cursing it, instead of cursing her body. And Will Fillmore in the Prayer Way to Health, Wealth, and Healing, I think it's called, or something like that.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Yeah, he talks about this practice, and Louise Hay talks about. A lot of people talk about this practice of sending love. That our cells are always responding to the thoughts we send to them. So perhaps these tumors that once were malignant turned benign because of all the loving and praying and affirming. And that's the thing with. This is the thing. Krista wasn't just like cutting people off and like blaming them for how she was feeling. She was also working on the level of her own feeling and her own thinking, and always looking through the lens of love. You know, Mary Kupferle, who's a Unity author, in the book Guidelines to Prayer, wrote, "Regardless of any challenge in your personal life, you are right now in the process of unfolding and on the way to harvesting your good. Instead of trying to gather up the weeds to get rid of them, begin placing your thoughts and feelings on the wonder of the harvest to come, for it will come." Oh, you know what? We haven't done our 3 breaths
You
yet.
know what's funny? I was going, well, yeah, these 3 breaths are going to come out at the perfect timing.
And you were right.
And this is the perfect, because normally, if you listen to our podcast, we like to do the 3 breaths near the opening of the show.
Yes.
But this is a very special case.
Yes.
And it's working out perfectly in divine order.
In divine order.
And these 3 breaths, you may be familiar with them because they're from St. Francis.
St. Francis, yes.
St. Francis, old Blue Eyes himself.
That's right, Frank Sinatra.
And Ed, are you ready to kick us off? Now you could say them along with us once you hear the first round.
Yes, you may recognize him.
Yes.
It's a beautiful little hymn.
You may have actually
inadvertently sung this hymn before.
Yeah, or affirmed this affirmation. It's a very reassuring affirmation.
Let's take a breath and clear our mind here. The best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
The best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
The best is yet to come, and won't that be fine?
Did you hear the angels?
Yeah, I realized I left the babe out of the last one, but that's okay. But to reiterate what we're talking about, looking forward to it, like Darrell was describing, how did this simple phrase, which really looking forward to it, why would that be such an empowering or such an enthusiastic thing to say? And I think the way it came to me recently was I wasn't feeling my mojo. I wasn't feeling good. I wasn't feeling enthusiastic, and I realized things ahead of me were scaring me, and for some reason instead I was like cowering. I didn't want to look at those, so I started looking back at everything and trying to figure out what went wrong there. How did I end up here? And all of that was just keeping me in this cycle and weakening me, right? So once I realized that, and it came through some dreams and things, it just all of a sudden started to dawn on me. That's what's missing. I'm spending too much of my mental energy looking back. And I meditated in that morning, and I just started thinking about the things that were coming, and I realized when I look forward, then I get to choose how am I going to show up in those things. Instead of being a victim of someone else who's there, who we think, oh, that's our boss, or that's this or that, that's a parent, that's they have some authority over me. Instead, we become the authority in our own life. We look at it, we call it good, we baptize it as success, and
Yes.
I baptize it as success, and I get to have say in my life just by looking forward to it and calling it good and realizing that God is looking through me, and everyone that's coming is God, and the only thing that's going to be there is God when we arrive.
That's baptizing things to success. Simple phrases like when it's something that seems scary, by simply just saying, I'm looking forward to it, all of a sudden you realign with the reality of life, which is everything's moving in a positive direction. Another tool we use that's a sign now in front of our Unity of the Westside Church as a little like cartoon speech bubble is, I love this place.
Yes.
If your workplace is getting you down, you could transform your place of business by affirming to yourself, I love this place.
Yes.
I love this place. I love this place. And that power is, we have this power, and this power is available to us to use.
That's right.
But we have the choice whether or not we use it. And
That's
we're
right.
here to tell you, give it a fair trial, because that's why our show is, the catchphrase for our show is, stepping out boldly always leads to better than expected outcomes. Because by applying these simple truths,
yes,
you will be amazed with better than expected outcomes. We are all the time.
That's right. So release your imprisoned splendor, as the poem says, as Butterworth was fond of saying, as Fillmore. Release your imprisoned splendor. That's your job. That's your assignment. He's Darrell, right? Yep. I'm Ed. We're happy to be here with you and the Unity of the West Side on Valentine's Day. We love you. Go out and be a light, a beacon of light to others. Let it out, for crying out loud. Anything else you want to say before we go?
The best is yet to come, and babe, won't that be fine?
Darrell and Ed love you.
Darrell and Ed asked us to do a fun song this week by Peggy Lee called It's a Good Day.
Yes, it's a good day for singing a song, and it's a good day for moving along. Yes, it's a good day. How could anything be wrong? A good day from morning to night. Yes, it's a good day for shining your shoes, and it's a good day for losing the blues. Everything to gain and nothing to lose. A good day from morning to night. I said to the sun, good morning, sun. Rise and shine today. You know you gotta get going if you're gonna make it show, and then you got to right away. 'Cause it's a good day for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away those pills. A good day from morning till night. I said to the sun, good morning, sun. Rise and shine today. You know you gotta get going if you're gonna make a show, and then you got the right of way. 'Cause it's a good day for paying your bills, and it's a good day for curing your ills. So take a deep breath and throw away those pills. It's a good day from morning till night. It's a good day from morning till night. It's a good day from morning till night.
Let there be peace on earth, and this song was first sung here. I'm in front of Unity of the Westside Church at 10724 Barman Avenue, beautiful Culver City. And yes, it's true. Back in 1955, the congregation of this church was the very first audience to hear the song Let There Be Peace on Earth performed publicly. And I got that straight from Dolly Balin, who at the time was just 18 years old and was their pianist and vocalist. Now, when songwriters Jill Jackson Miller and her husband Cy Miller wrote the song. They knew they had something special, but they wanted to see an audience's response before they officially released it. So out of all the churches in the area, they intuitively felt that Unity would be the most open and receptive to playing something new and original at one of their services. And now, Let There Be Peace on Earth is played throughout the year, around the world, and crosses all denominations. Oh, and one more thing. Songwriter Jill Jackson Miller was also an actress, and under her stage name Harleen Wood, she starred in several Three Stooges movies that were filmed at Columbia Pictures just 1 block away from here in Culver City. So let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.